Parents always say, do whatever you want now, but when you settle down, it must be with someone from the community.
What is his name? Kabir. Kabir what? Come on, he has a name, doesn't he? Or have you forgotten? Kabir Lal, Kabir Mehra, what? Kabir Durrani.
There are many Indian myths about people falling in love and marrying outside their communities. Scholars say that ancient Dharmashastra texts even sanctioned Gandharva marriage, which didn't require parental approval. However, other texts like Manusmriti did not reflect such acceptance. If the caste of a man was lower than his wife's, the marriage was called pratiloma and strongly condemned. Children born out of such marriages were considered impure. Unfortunately, our current attitudes seem to mirror this thinking. As of the 2011 census, only 5.82% of marriages in India were intercaste. And contrary to popular belief, the more educated people are, the stronger their preference for marrying within their caste. On the other hand, honor killing is a crime Indians are only too familiar with, where a couple is murdered by their families for daring to marry outside their caste, gotra, or religion. Even in popular culture, scholars point out that Indian TV shows rarely depict relationships that are intercaste or interreligious. Even though Bollywood is synonymous with the stories of lovers fighting against the world to be together, very rarely do they cross the rigid boundaries of caste and religion. And when they do, the ending is hardly happy. Here's the thing though, this preference for marrying within your community isn't unique to India. Opposition to inter-community marriages is seen in many different contexts, especially where there are histories of conflict. It all comes down to the notion of maintaining the purity of lineage and ensuring that the future generations of the family continue to uphold the social divisions and networks that that family has benefited from, be it their political position, socio-cultural identity, ritual status, or ownership of properties. Everything is seen to be linked to this notion of purity, which makes any transgression a matter of shame and dishonor. But what sets India apart is the extent to which we live and literally die by these social hierarchies. Scholars often argue that India's caste system is one of the longest surviving social hierarchies in the world, which till today determines not just interpersonal relationships but economic structures too. In addition to that, India is also one of the world's most economically unequal countries, with the top 10% holding 77% of the country's wealth. But not only are caste and class hierarchies rigid, even within families, elder and male members receive almost a reverential status. A cross-country comparison found a high score for power distance in India, meaning that people from all backgrounds tend to be more accepting of social hierarchies. This makes the pressure to marry within your community even stronger. In fact, many young Indians date around on the implicit or explicit understanding that the person they ultimately will marry will be from their own community. And for those who do marry outside their community, research shows that they don't get the same type of social and family support that couples from the same community get when they get married. This impacts their ability to deal with marital conflicts, especially related to employment and childcare, where family support can be helpful in easing transitions or in relieving pressure. This in turn furthers the perception that they made a mistake by marrying badly, and again reinforces the message for younger family members that marrying within your community is just easier and better. But here's the thing. The fight for inter-community marriages isn't just about letting people freely love and live. It is equally about eliminating social hierarchies and discrimination. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar famously said that to abolish caste, the real remedy is intermarriage. Many organizations and support groups are enabling exactly that by highlighting positive stories of inter-community relationships and actively supporting couples who wish to marry outside their communities. But the real change will come about only when we question these rigid hierarchies by undoing the social conditioning which teaches us to look for love only within our social boundaries. When our constitution itself guarantees a person's right to choose a partner irrespective of caste, creed, or religion, then isn't it about time that Indian society catches up? That's it for our latest video in the Overthinking It series. If you enjoy overthinking with us, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the Swaddle, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you stay updated.